If you haven't already, click on the alert button now and subscribe. I'll make sure the second I get the news, you also get it as well. Thank you very much. Welcome back, guys, to another news update from the Ramwell himself. Now, I'm sorry, this isn't good news, as I'm sure you're already aware. Boris has just announced that London is going into Tier 4 lockdown along with the southeast of England. Now, what does this mean if you're learning to drive or a driving test? Well, unfortunately, there is nothing solid out there at the moment, but if you have a look at here, as you can see, Scotland and Wales have both said Tier 4, the driving test will not go ahead. England has only mentioned that driving tests will go ahead in Tiers 1, 2 and 3. So in my opinion, if you are in Tier 4, your driving test and driving lessons will be cancelled. I'm really sorry about this. I know how frustrating it is and how long you've already had to wait and the backlog that's already there. It's really frustrating. Now, for any of you that are worried about theory tests, again, there's nothing concrete out there at the moment. But if you look back to the previous lockdowns, theory test centres were all closed. Now, you might be wondering why. Perhaps they just want to minimise risk, or perhaps it's down to the fact that with the driving test centres being closed and people can't carry out the practical tests, there's already a huge backlog of people waiting. So do they want to add to that by letting more people pass their theory tests? And perhaps they think it's best to just slow that down by stopping those at the same time. Your guess is as good as mine. Now, this is really terrible news about a possible mutation with COVID. They were saying with the original COVID virus, in a car or in close proximity, before you're at really high risk of getting it, but in comparison with this possible mutation, you can catch it a hell of a lot quicker. So a driving examiner being sat in a car with a different student all day, for 30, 40 minutes, that's really high risk. And I guess that's why they're probably going to decide that it can't go ahead. Now, you really need to make sure your contact details are up to date for the DVSA, because you're bound to get something through the email rearranging your test or whatever else. So make sure those details are up to date.